can turn back now or learn the stuff they don't want you to know. Here are the facts. The Black Panther Party for Self-Defense was founded in Oakland, California in 1966 by Huey Newton and Bobby Seale. They originally wanted to protect local residents from police brutality. As the party evolved, its goals expanded. The group called for nationwide changes meant to combat racial inequality in the United States. By the late 1960s, the organization had over 2,000 members. Critics of the party saw the organization as a racist hate group, while supporters agreed with its push for equality, if not its violent methods. The federal government considered the Panthers terrorists. In the FBI's estimation, the Black Panther Party was an extremist group that advocated the use of violence and guerrilla tactics to overthrow the U.S. government. Neutralizing the Panthers and other political dissidents became a #1 priority for the FBI. But how far would the government go to prevent the spread of subversive elements? Would they, in fact, break the law? Here's where it gets crazy. Yes, in 1956, the FBI formed a secret program called COINTELPRO to combat subversive political organizations. This series of secret operations focused on several major groups: Communist, Socialist, the Ku Klux Klan, Black Nationalist, and others. The Panther Party was not originally one of the FBI targets, but by 1968, J. Edgar Hoover considered them the greatest threat to the internal security of the country. By 1969, the Panthers were one of COINTELPRO's primary targets, and the FBI attempted to weaken the group through a number of means. The FBI was primarily concerned that this group might unify with other similar organizations. To prevent this, the FBI engaged in numerous acts of widespread surveillance, wiretapping, mail fraud, extortion, and more. The COINTELPRO operations weren't public until 1971, meaning that for decades these programs functioned without public scrutiny and with virtually no congressional oversight. In 1976, the Select Committee to Study Governmental Operations, better known as the Church Committee, found that the FBI had violated the law in several COINTELPRO operations. While the stated aim of COINTELPRO was to prevent violence, some of the FBI's actions during this time arguably promoted violence between the Black Panthers and rival organizations such as the United Slaves and the Blackstone Rangers. The FBI also worked to prevent prominent party members such as Fred Hampton or Bobby Seale from making public appearances. According to Noam Chomsky, COINTELPRO eventually expanded to include political assassinations. Is there any truth to this claim? To answer this question, we must examine the death of Fred Hampton, who died during an FBI and Chicago police force raid on December 4, 1969. Hampton had a reputation as a remarkable political organizer, and he had the diplomatic skills necessary to unify rival black nationalist movements. Supporters of the Panther Party claimed that Hampton was assassinated, and that the government feared Hampton could become a visible leader unifying the Black Power movement. To this day, the FBI, the Justice Department, and the Chicago Police Force reject any claims of political skullduggery, maintaining that the raid was conducted correctly. In 1971, an activist group called the Citizens Commission to investigate the FBI stole COINTELPRO documents from a field office in Pennsylvania, exposing the project to public scrutiny. In April of the same year, the FBI terminated COINTELPRO. Yet numerous critics of the U.S. government believe that the strategies used in COINTELPRO operations are still in use today. But which strategies, and against whom? For now, that seems to be the stuff they don't want you to know.
And I hope that each one of you will be able to die in that revolutionary struggle, or you didn't be able to live in it. And I think that struggle is going to come. Why don't you live for